shaking?
So, we just got out of seeing this, Venom, and everybody's saying that this movie is garbage. Everybody's saying that it's just a waste of time, waste of money, and I believe we feel the same way. What do you think? Do you think that's bullshit?
I don't know. Like I enjoyed it, but it's like you said on the drive back, it's kind of mixed. Like as a Venom fan, we're disappointed, but as like just going to see a movie,
There's no, if you're not a Venom fan, you don't really have a right to say that you don't like this movie, because even I liked this movie.
Yeah.
And it is a mixed bag. Like, this is gonna be like the first review where we're just not praising the movie and whatnot.
Like I'd still probably give it a thumbs up at the end, but it's like kind of like as a movie, you might enjoy it. If you like Tom Hardy, you'll definitely enjoy it. If you know nothing about Venom and you like Tom Hardy, you'll like it. If you're into kind of dark, twisted stories, that is, because it is kind of, there's people in front of us that were jumping a fair bit. I was like, this kind of is scary. Like
that's what I mean. This movie was like in the early stages of development and even filming and whatnot. This was intended to be a R-rated film. I believe
you can feel that throughout the film. There's scenes where it's like, this feels like it would have went on longer in another version.
Yeah, like for example, like there's just a scene where like Tom Hardy and like the woman are about to like get some stuff happening, but they cut away, and you can tell that there's just like at least like a minute and a half long sex scene that was just cut because of a PG-13.
Right when they wake up, he's like, "There's a sex scene there."
Yeah, I knew.
But Tom Hardy even said there's like 30+ minutes missing of this movie.
That much?
Yeah, something like that.
And like there's
all his favorite parts of the movie are cut.
And there's a lot of scenes that like you could tell that there was R-rated content there,
even
but
the
they
way
had
the
to cut
movie
it down.
ends before the post-credit scene. There's something like that we see in the trailer, and that I feel like would have been way brutaler and way gory had it been R-rated. But instead, it doesn't even show it. It just it shows him going towards the camera, and that's all you see. Like
in this, that as I said, without, well, I guess by now it's not really a spoiler.
Yeah,
we're a little late getting the review out. But this movie, as we just explained, it could have benefited from being rated R. And yes, the fact that it is PG-13, it could have benefited from having Spider-Man in this movie.
Like going into it, it was like, this is the Lethal Protector. Like that's the story arc they were giving him, and like you kind of feel that. But like I just read the graphic novel just last week, and to be honest, it doesn't feel anything like Lethal Protector. There's certain elements of it.
Like the whole thing about like what's his name, the Drake fella, the main bad guy, like
the
getting
life, like the foundation, like all that. There is elements that's great, but there's other elements that are just like, it's not that they butchered it. It's the fact that with everything that's going on with Disney, they can't use Spider-Man, so there's no way this movie like. But we were saying as well, like, why not just recast a new Spider-Man? Don't make any solo Spider-Man movies, but have him pop up in all these like.
If you're making a universe based on the bad guys, just give us a Spider-Man only in suit. Like, don't give us Peter Parker at all.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a bad guy based,
unless it's like
universe,
a bad guy that gets to Peter, but like you could do that in 3 movies when you finally cast the perfect Parker for your own little universe. But to not confuse the audience, like make it so this is a different Spider-Man, and don't make solo Spider-Man movies. Just so
have him
the solo
in those
Spider-Man
movies.
is the Disney ones, but there's a Spider-Man popping up in these Sony movies. Like I'd be okay with that. I'm sure other people would be okay with that.
I'd be more than happy.
But another thing though, like Tom Hardy, as far as reading the graphic novel, he doesn't really look like Eddie Brock, to be completely honest.
He doesn't. With that being said, he doesn't even seem like he has that Eddie Brock tough guy attitude.
He almost seems like
This is like his
not
own...
whiny, but he's just more emotional than Eddie Brock. And Eddie Brock is emotional in the comics, but he's like an angry emotion.
Like, yeah, this is just like, I guess, Tom Hardy's take on...
But that being said, I do like his performance in it. And his Venom, like the voice of Venom, is awesome. Like, I love that.
And that's the best part about the movie, I will say, is like the back and forth between Venom and Eddie Brock.
The ever-growing friendship that they're developing.
Yeah, and I was wondering in the movie if like at that point whenever Venom is talking to him like underneath the bridge, I thought he was going to refer to him as his other, like he did a lot in the comics, but they didn't, and I was just like, missed opportunity. But
and even like I went into it expecting there to be like 4 or 5 bad symbiotes. We got one. We got a couple.
We
like,
got them in the trailer, and they don't give it to us. Like, okay,
I was
come on,
really
guys.
expecting that yellow and red one. I don't even know their names because they don't even mention the names in the graphic.
I know that the girl one, the yellow one, is Scream.
Scream, and there's Riot, and I think there's like a Toxin or Toxic or something along those lines. But either way, the only one that popped up was Riot in the end. Like,
Yeah, there's only 2 like
they
actual
do tests
symbiotes
with other symbiotes, and I think they die because they don't bond with the host. Or, what's happening is they're not feeding it, is what I gather.
the symbiote
They're putting
itself.
the symbiote in this human,
And it's like they're just
the
tests.
symbiote's going hungry, so it's eating the human instead of eating
Something else.
which again would have paid off so much more if it was R rated.
There's scenes like
remember when Venom goes into that like crackhead looking guy? Imagine
Yeah.
if that was R rated. He would have had blood coming out of him. Because I think the way I pictured that scene was Venom was eating his organs because it was so hungry. Like that's how I pictured it. They're saying it's not connecting with the host, but I think it's just Venom is so hungry that the first host he sees, he just devours.
Before I forget to even say it, like I do want to put this on the record. Please give us, like when this video or whenever this movie comes out on Blu-ray, please give us that R-rated cut because
Yes.
I do want to see like
Especially
what was supposed
with
to
Tom
be.
Hardy himself saying that they cut
A
all
bunch
the
of
best
good
parts
stuff
out. All
out.
the best parts were obviously R-rated. They even drop an F-bomb, which I wasn't expecting. Like I wasn't expecting it just because I knew they nerfed the movie down.
But see, that's what I mean. That's what this movie feels like. It feels like a movie that was rated R, and they watched it, and they all of a sudden just felt like, what can we do here? That nobody's gonna go watch
And
this, so they cut it all down.
Yeah.
So because, as you said in the car, like they feared they were gonna lose money on it.
yes, they wanted more. They were probably wondering, like they weren't sure if they were gonna make the money they spent, so they dumbed it down to get more money. It makes sense, but if they had left it R-rated, it could have been kind of that Deadpool effect where like. It's so good, people keep going back to see it or telling their friends, and it makes more.
And yeah, and with the fact that this movie is making money, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong, but it also puts me in fear. That spoiler alert for the post-credit scene. Really, it puts me in fear that when we get Carnage, it's not going to be rated R, and Carnage
He needs to be.
has to.
He's a cold-blooded murderer when he's not.
Carnage
the
needs to
symbiote.
be rated R like garlic bread needs cheese.
Yeah.
Like it just has to happen. If you do Carnage PG-13, you are gonna get a Suicide Squad situation.
And I gotta say
think.
that I'm not really a fan of Woody Harrelson. I can never pronounce his last
Yeah,
name.
yeah, Woody Harrelson.
I'm not a fan of his wig. I get he's a redhead.
He-
I understand
he
he needed the red hair, but like.
No, but see, like I thought it was just gonna be like just like red with a little bit, but like. He turns around, you got like fucking Carrot Top sitting there,
like-
and I said it in the theater. I was like, "Oh my god, it's Carrot Top," and but no, it's Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy.
And I'm curious if maybe one of the little seeds will fall off and attach.
But
on
see,
him
that's the
when he's
question.
interviewing
That's
him.
the question. In this movie, the symbiotes aren't Venom's
Yeah,
offspring.
like in the graphic novel, they're Venom's kids. But in this, they're just other symbiotes from a planet with millions of symbiotes.
So with that being said, is Cletus Cassidy gonna be that different one where he is gonna be the first offspring of?
I hope so. And that could even lead into us getting the other symbiotes pulled from Venom and getting the actual Lethal Protector movie that we thought we were gonna get. But that, like, with that being said, like, what did you think of Riot? Like,
I liked Riot. I didn't hate the actor. But I really think
he played a good asshole.
he played a good asshole. But I do think it was a miscast.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he just felt like he was.
Like whenever like him and Riot do not. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it was like whereas
Like
Eddie
when Venom and Eddie Brock, they felt
like the Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah, I
this,
get what
I
you're
feel
saying.
as though the symbiote wouldn't have wanted to bond with him.
And he wouldn't. I feel like it wouldn't have been as big. Like they made him seem bigger. I get the symbiote can amplify
And like
it, so
Riot was like the leader. Venom said,
if this symbiote got on him, I can't help but picture him being smaller,
like just skinnier, kind of like a Carnage.
and like he
what
still
Carnage
could have
would
been
be.
badass. It's just I feel like they just made him too big. And
Yeah,
like
so-
that whole last fight sequence, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. It's cool, But like some of the shit that's happening, you're like, wait. Is
The
that
only
like,
the only time I think it gets hard to see is whenever the symbiote starts splashing
that's
everywhere.
like when they're splashing all over the
And
place.
it's like-
and there's a shot with them in the air where like they're fighting and the two like Tom Hardy and the other buddy are there, but you can see the symbiotes ripping off them, and it's like what's going on here? It's just so
Yeah, there's like a good 20 seconds in that fight where you're just
and
like,
I was
okay.
all for it. I just wish like if maybe it was in daytime we could see it all better. I don't know. I hate when movies do that. Do an awesome scene, but do it in the dark, so it's just
So
almost like
you
a
don't
cheap
have to
way,
work as
yeah.
hard to make it look as
'cause
real.
like Wonder Woman did that. The whole last fight sequence, it was very dark, and it
And
was
that-
like
and
I'd
that's
like to see this
arguably-
happen in the day.
And that's the one thing that Infinity War has gone for it. There's like no fight scenes in the dark except for that one scene.
When they're in space,
Yeah.
but that's like if they're in space, they're
You
surrounded by
can't
dark.
do anything
Yeah,
about
like-
that. But like daytime, throw Venom in there. I don't care. And throw blood in there the next time too.
Yeah. Oh,
But
man.
you can tell that there was a lot of like swearing that was cut, and there was a lot of blood that was cut, and there was just a lot of shit that was
And
cut.
like Eddie Brock's more of a dick in the comics, and like he seems more nicer in this. But they kind of had to do that to make him feel more.
But see, that's just it. What happens when Venom and Spider-Man get together? Like, it's of course it's gonna be a team up. I don't think we're gonna get to see this Venom fight Spider-Man, but I do think we're gonna get to see this Venom fight alongside him.
They could be fighting, and then Venom could be like, go to eat someone, and then Spider-Man start fighting him. Like, no, just because he's bad doesn't mean you can't eat him. And then Eddie be like, he's got to eat.
And yeah, but Eddie's already all about that anyway. As in the movie, he just says, okay, fine. Like, if you're gonna do this, like, I'll give you the slightest little chance that if you want to eat somebody, they got to be a really bad person. But like they do that in the comics too. But that's where Spider-Man is like, no, nobody's allowed to die. So maybe that's where the whole hatred might come in. But who knows? Who knows what the future is going to hold for this series? Hopefully, it's going to have a little bit more violence in the sequels. With
And I can't even give it a rating. Like I usually try and rate it out of 10. I know you don't, but like. I was juggling, like I was thinking like maybe 7-ish, but it's mainly because it just didn't feel like the Venom movie I wanted.
That's the problem. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say this movie is garbage because I wanted something else. Disappointment doesn't make it bad.
And the CGI was iffy in some scenes, but it was pretty good for
the most part. Yeah,
aside
like Venom
from,
looked good and
like he did look good, but they could have made him look different. Like more comic book accurate, and I'm not even talking about the white spider. Like I just mean the shape of his face and his smile. You were saying that.
Yeah,
too.
that's one thing.
Too much in the movie.
There's only one like tiny little scene where he doesn't, but just he has that goofy smile on the whole time.
And like Venom doesn't always look creepy just because of the spider
or the smile. As long as they show his teeth and like put a little bit more of the tongue in the next movie. Yeah. I don't know. I think the director did a good job for what he had, because let's face it, this is a Sony movie, and Sony had the first say.
This was made by Amy Pascal, not these guys. So they did a good job with what they were given, and I'm hoping that they continue to do good jobs.
Hopefully,
it's Sony. They're gonna make a sequel, so I'm hoping it's. I don't know. I'm with the direction they're going with, but I don't know. There was a Stan Lee cameo too.
Yeah, I was not expecting
I
that
completely forgot about
because Stan Lee didn't create Venom,
and
so
part of me was thinking that he wasn't even gonna show up in it just because it. Like I was literally iffy on what I was gonna think of this movie. Ever since the first trailer, I was like, this doesn't look good. Second trailer came out, and I was like, this looks better than the first trailer. And then I went to see it, and I like it a lot more than I expected going into it, so there's that, I guess. But
yeah, see, like to me, this movie is kind of like the same situation as the Cloverfield Paradox, where everybody just is ripping on it because that's not what they wanted in this movie that they wanted. But me, I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was good.
But we all knew going into it that they. But we didn't even, because they were iffy on telling us Spider-Man wasn't in it. But I think that was more of a marketing scheme. But then maybe he was, and maybe they deleted it. Like
Don't get me thinking about that now.
Because like Tom Holland was seen on set for this movie.
Don't
so
say
what
that.
if there was a little Easter egg with him in it, and then
give us
Disney
the
was
full
like,
cut,
"Take
Sony. Come on, give us this R-rated cut. I want to see this now. Like, I didn't even know that.
But yeah, with all that stuff, like besides it being R-rated and not quite being comic book accurate, we enjoyed it for what it was, and give it a thumbs up. I don't know about 2 thumbs up.
I will say, see, if I give this movie a thumbs up, I'm saying that I 110% love it to me. So I'll give this movie a flat line.
That's I was gonna say. I didn't want to give it a thumbs.
I'm gonna
down,
give
so
this
maybe
movie a flat line.
Yeah.
If you are not a Venom fan, there's no reason for you not to like this unless this isn't your kind of movie. But if you're going in and saying, oh, I don't like this because it was unfaithful to the character, and you're not a comic fan, like you're not a Venom fan, like don't say this movie isn't good. The only reason people would have the reason to say that is because this isn't what we wanted, but that doesn't make it bad.
And people are gonna shit on it because it's not in the MCU.
Yeah,
who cares?
just because
not everything is gonna be in the MCU.
Yeah, just because this isn't what we wanted doesn't make it garbage.
Yeah.
If that's my thoughts. But with that being said, did you have anything else to say about it?
No, not that I can think of off the top of my head. But you guys can let us know what you thought of the movie down below. And
yeah, we're at 125 subscribers right now. We're literally bucking it. Make sure you go subscribe because we're gonna see if we can get to 200 before the end of next month. That's the goal right now. And with that being said, you guys take her easy and stay tuned. We still have a review for the Spider-Man PS4 game coming. Yeah. We just haven't had time to review it yet, but it's coming.
We've both platinumed it weeks ago.
Yeah, I know we promised that like a week after the game came out, but like it's coming. The reviews are coming.
When's the...
I think that's coming out like a little bit after Halloween. Yeah. So let's see if we can. We'll see if we can get that out before the end of the month.
Alrighty, guys, take her easy.
Have a good one, guys.